Before the destruction comes something almost as daunting: the wait. Tropical Cyclone Alfred is taking its time as millions anticipate its arrival. The delay doesn't mean communities aren't copping a preview of the chaos though. Dan Nolan is on the Gold Coast, and Dan, it is already so nasty, and the latest from the Bureau, we've got another 30 hours before it hits land.
Yeah, that's right, Ali. This is what's happening here on the southern end of the Gold Coast is the outer bands of Tropical Cyclone Alfred are already hitting here. And that's what's generating this incredible swell that you can probably see crashing on those rocks behind me. That's been building up throughout the day. Earlier today, there was a wave height recorded of 12 metres on the Gold Coast. The wind speeds are already been hitting 80 to 90 kilometres an hour down here. And this is the taste of what this whole coastline is going to get when Tropical Cyclone Alfred hits. And like you said, everyone's been waiting for it. It's stalled, it's turned around, it's coming back again. It could be Category 2, it could be Category 1. But what we do know is it's going to bring a lot of wind, it's going to bring a lot of waves, and it's going to bring a lot of rain, Ali.
Dan, we just saw the iconic surf club there, which I believe is where you're standing. I mean, looking at it, it is iconic. Is it going to survive what's coming?
Yeah, well, look, Ali, there's been some incredible clips in the last few days of the waves that have been happening here. So if we have a look here, this surf club, the Currumbin Surf Club, it's reinforced by these thick concrete pylons. They're 1 metre wide, buried down into the sand to try and withstand it. At the moment, this is like a little island because the car park's been washed away already by the surf, and we haven't even seen that storm surge yet that's going to come with the cyclone. So every resident who lives along here in this part of the Gold Coast, all the way to Brisbane, Sunshine Coast, and down to the Northern Rivers, they're all terrified of what's going to happen, and this is a taste of what's coming our way, Ali.
And just madness to think the people are in the water there. Thank you so much for that, Dan. Well, just south of the border in northern New South Wales are the small towns that somehow just keep going. Faced with devastating floods and forced to rebuild time and time again. It's exhausting. But the people who call the Northern Rivers home are standing ready.
We don't really know what's going to happen, but we're just preparing ourselves for the worst and we're hoping for the best, basically.
Little bit scary.
It's the fear of the unknown.
It is, that's exactly right, and nature takes its course, doesn't it?
This is Lennox Head, northern New South Wales. These waves are the beginning of Cyclone Alfred's swell. From the coast all the way west to Lismore and beyond, there's small towns waiting and bracing for the worst. In the front yard of Steve Smith's home in Woodburn, his boat is at the ready. So if the floodwaters just come up, you're ready to go?
That's it. Unhook the boat and drive off.
In 2022, the floodwater swallowed his town. These are his photos from the aftermath. Whether a flood is coming or not, Steve's not leaving it up to Mother Nature's chance. Last time round, how'd you go on the floods?
Yeah, we lost everything. We lost nearly 90% of my business and all the vehicles and tractors, and we lost a few head of cattle, and floodwater was probably 3/4 away nearly to the gutrins here, and lost everything inside. Like just everything. We just had to get out. It came up overnight. So like it was going to stair tread every 15 minutes.
Anything that's left here now is basically floatable stuff. It's not something that we need. So if anything happens, it happens.
Further inland at Korakai, for Rachel and her family, there's an eerie reminder of how bad things can get. Does it still hurt?
It does when you like my photos just popped up on my phone from 3 years ago. That hurt a little bit. It sort of, brought back all those memories. Trying to stay positive, think positive.
Their lives now on pause as they nervously wait for the unknown. We're in a 2-storey house and you've brought everything up from downstairs.
Yeah, exactly right.
Because you lost it all last time?
We did, yeah. Yeah, every little bit of it. Photos, all the kids' stuff when they were younger, growing up.
A bit of anxiety?
There is a little bit, yeah, and especially when I'm an aged care worker, So I was at work the other day and, you know, all these different stories coming through and how high it's going to be, and just be prepared.
You can't underestimate how on edge these towns are. In Lismore, the rain has already started, and the Wilsons River, there's already a major flood warning.
I cannot stress enough that this is a significant weather event.
Strong winds have already brought down power lines in the area. Sydney-based volunteer lifesavers and emergency response teams mobilised today, deployed to low-lying towns including Lismore, Ballina and Byron Bay. Further down the road, Christine just managed to rebuild her antique store. Now she's preparing to lose it all over again.
We always know it's always hovering in the background, but once that rain starts and those winds again, yeah, you're just not sleeping. Yeah.
With the help of husband Robert, she's moving what she can to higher ground. Preparation is key?
You know, well, I mean, last time it was preparation and it went up here as well. That was the problem.
And how much of a hit did you take last time?
A big hit. Most businesses took huge hits.
But if the water comes in again, as high as like it was, it's gone. There's nothing we can do about it.
Everyone here in this part of the world is united by their fear of the flood, but they'll get through together.
It'd be nice to be on a hill somewhere at the moment.
We're such a tight-knit community that we all just rally in and help each other.
We'll just have everything ready and we'll just sit back, drink beer with our feet up.
Good luck. Can I give you a one?
Yeah, they're strong, but how much can they take? The boss of the New South Wales Reconstruction Authority, Mal Lanyon, is in northern New South Wales, where he will stay until the cyclone passes and recovery efforts are underway. I spoke to him a short time ago. Mal, it's miserable. There's already a bit of damage and the cyclone's not here yet. How's the mood?
To be honest, I think very apprehensive with the residents up here. As you're aware, there was significantly devastating floods back in 2022. There's been a lot of work done with the community, with the Reconstruction Authority, to actually recover and rebuild. This was exactly what those residents don't need, and I think because of the way that the cyclone is moving, there is just a great deal of fear about what it might bring.
Yeah, I mean, we're still expecting Queensland to cop the eye of that storm, but this is 3 disasters in one. How do you prepare for that?
I think there's been a lot of preparation, and that's probably been the change from 2022. 2022, there was far less time to prepare for emergency services. This time there are significant assets deployed up into the Northern Rivers. We've got over 2,000 SES personnel, rural fire service, marine rescue, surf life saving, significant numbers of police also working and coordinating this disaster. So we are very well planned and ready to respond.
Because we saw from the Lismore floods 3 years ago, we learnt that you can't coordinate an emergency response 700 kilometres from the disaster zone. Is that fixed?
I think it's always going to be a challenge, Ali. When something is so large right across an area such as the Northern Rivers, there's probably never going to be enough personnel on the ground, but I can say we have deployed more than ever. I can say they are very well trained for this and they are very well practiced about how they intend to respond. We're really focused and we're really asking residents to work with us to make sure that where we can get people to relocate before, that is our preference. Let's get people out of harm's way before it occurs.
Because as you know, Mal, the SES was criticised for issuing out-of-date, inaccurate and confusing messages. How do you regain the trust of residents who were so badly let down by those in charge?
I can say the messaging this time has been very clear, has been very regular, and we've been making sure that the messaging, certainly between government, between the SES and certainly the other combat agencies, has been absolutely timely so that residents can make a decision. We've been very much forward-leaning to say to residents, we would like you to relocate. We would like you to assist us to get out of harm's way so there's no need to evacuate at the last moment. What we really want to try to avoid is to make sure that we're not rescuing people in the middle of the night.
How are you feeling about it all?
Obviously apprehensive. I think these are the sort of things that you really want to work for the community. This is where we show how much we care for our community. We've worked very hard as a Reconstruction Authority to try to rebuild the Northern Rivers, and we'll continue to do that after that. I'd like the community to really know that we'll be standing alongside you and we'll make sure that we're here to help you recover.
And Mel, I think that message is getting through. I think people are reassured that, you know, you're not sitting at the headquarters in Sydney while this is happening. You are up there on the ground in the Northern Rivers when this cyclone hits.
That's exactly right. I'm currently with the Premier and the Minister. We really want to get a feel for the community, really to understand what the impacts are, because the impacts will determine what type of response is required, and then absolutely, from my perspective, what recovery is required. We're really focused on making sure the recovery happens quickly so the community can see progress.
This is the problem though, isn't it? That there's no crystal ball and what we're talking about is so unpredictable.
Absolutely. This is a very different storm event for the Northern Rivers. The last cyclone to hit New South Wales was approximately 30 years ago, so it's been a long time. As you rightly pointed out at the start, 2022 was an East Coast low with significant rainfall over the catchment, particularly over Lismore. This time we've got 3 consecutive particular threats. We've got a storm surge, we've got strong and destructive winds, but also widespread rain right across the catchment area, which makes it really difficult to predict where there may be flooding incidents.
How do you get the message through this is so serious, but without completely freaking people out?
I think you have to be honest and you have to be very clear in the communication. What has been really promoted over the past few days is that we provided as much accurate information based on what the Bureau are telling us. The SES have been very forward-leaning to say these are your options, this is what we would like you to do. Please listen to our messages, please download the Hazards Near Me app, and please act. If you're asked to do something or if it's recommended or that you feel that you're going to be safer, please relocate now. Don't wait to be asked to evacuate.
And look, it's not just the physical damage either, right? I mean, these are people who have been through so much time and time again.
Yeah, we ache for the community up here in the Northern Rivers. They've been through such a significant incident in 2022. I understand firsthand the trauma that they've been through. I think you know, shortly after the incident, I was actually appointed as the recovery coordinator, so I spent a lot of time with the community. I've seen the trauma that they've been through, and it's only just on 3 years ago that the incident occurred.
Yeah. You know what, Mal? You're someone I'd want around in a crisis. Stay safe, and we appreciate your time and all your hard work. Thank you.
Thanks, Ali. Really appreciate your support.
He's a good man. Well, the elderly are often the most vulnerable during natural disasters, but this group isn't panicking just yet. They reckon a good cup of tea and a bit of hairspray will sort them out. And I, for one, really like their attitude.
Cyclone Alfred is knocking at the windows of Bupa Aged Care Runaway Bay, home to 108 older Australians. They're more fragile than they used to be, but they're ready to face this looming threat with true defiance.
Have you been out there?
Yes, I have.
You're a brave person.
The worst thing is it spoils my hair. That's all I worry about.
Pam has lived here for almost 9 years.
How are you feeling, Pam, with this big system just lurking over the coastline?
A little bit nervous, but we're well prepared here. There's extra medication and extra food for everyone.
Yes.
And extra safety precautions have been taken. I feel confident that we'll get through this.
But they've done very well here. I mean, we all got a supplement paper saying that you know, there's a generator on standby, and they've done everything they can to get ready for this.
Richard's mum, Maisie, has lived here for 4 years. She has Alzheimer's, but she loves to sing and she's full of attitude.
Watch out.
Hey! That's me, you don't mind.
I know.
So, Richard, your mum clearly likes a chat.
Oh, yes. Yeah, her nickname was Jaws, because she always used to like to natter.
How are you feeling about Cyclone Alfred? I mean, it's just off the coast and it's pretty big.
I think everybody's just waiting for it to hit, and let's get it over and done with, you know.
Waiting is the hardest part. They're ready. They know the people who work here and care for them have prepared backup power, medical supplies, even little bells in case the electricity fails and they need help quickly. But for them, a quick evacuation is not an option. They'll see Alfred out right here. Mandy Kaur is the General Manager.
What are some of the concerns with Alfred approaching?
We've got residents who's on oxygen and we don't want to be leaving them more than 72 hours without before we make the final decision what's next for them.
While the advice for most people is to stay at home, for those who work in aged care, their workplace becomes their home while they care for our elderly, with room for staff and their children for the next few days.
We're confident in our care and the preparations, but at the end of the day, we don't know what the impact is going to look like. But I can assure the staff and the residents and the families that we are well prepared for it.
It's hard preparing your own home and your own family, but you're looking after 108 vulnerable people. That's a massive job. You know, how do you do that?
I think it's just the acceptance and commitment. We all work in aged care. For me, nursing background, that's the commitment. We come in and we know that they're our responsibility.
They have a plan for every resident. And after the Christmas storms that took out their power, there's a hard copy of everything.
We have lots of residents with chronic issues and their care plan has to be exactly what we want them to do. So their care plans are ready to go. Medication stocks there. We have end-of-life medications ready to go. Every single document in regards to clinical care, it's ready to go.
So you guys are just going to roll with it? What's your plan?
Well, we live here and we're looked after well and everything's prepared. So
yes, everything's prepared, yes.
We'll be all right.
And Ning's going to stay extra hours.
Yeah, she kind of annoyed me last night in the middle of the night. She made the excuse that she wanted to check the door to see if it was locked.
Pam has her garden to look after, people to see and things to do, and Alfred is very inconvenient.
I would like it to be over and done with.
Come on, Alfred, we're ready for you.
Yes, come on. Come and go. Preferably go.
Go, yeah.
They've got the right attitude, don't they? Just get it over and done with.